So there is a big-time deep dive done by ESPN.com and the guys over there that do the investigative work for ESPN, Don Van Natta, Seth Wickersham, and Tisha Thompson. And this is about Dan Snyder going into tonight's, interestingly timed, Commanders and Bears game, about Dan Snyder's revenge tactics against his fellow owners. I want to read to you some passages from this because this is what everybody's going to be talking about all day long. I'm going to give you my thoughts after I read the passages. Snyder recently told a close associate that he has gathered enough secrets to, quote, blow up several NFL owners, the league office, and even Commissioner Roger Goodell. Snyder said privately, they can't bleep with me. Snyder told an associate, the NFL is a mafia. All the owners hate one another. A veteran owner told ESPN, that's not true. All the owners just hate Dan. According to this story, many owners and top league executives would want to see Dan Snyder removed as owner, but they're scared to do so. According to this report, the potential for mutually assured destruction could help explain why Snyder has survived years of scandals. He is under attack from multiple fronts. His team, his employees, and his own conduct have been investigated by Congress, the league office, and the DEA. At least 24 owners are required to force Snyder to sell the team, a fate that he has told multiple sources he would never accept. An associate who met with Dan Snyder multiple times recently says Snyder has become paranoid about owners and league execs and about former employees breaking non-disclosure agreements and telling investigators and reporters what they know. Snyder, quote, sees evil lurking in every shadow and around every corner. Someone is always out to get him. The report reads, it galls some owners and league executives that the NFL has been in lockstep with Washington on many fronts, propping up the franchise, in the words of one owner, by burying attorney Beth Wilkinson's report about the toxic workplace last year, and by helping the Commanders avoid penalties for repeated violations of the Rooney Rule. It's clear, one owner says, that Goodell, quote, doesn't want to touch this. This owner, again, this is an NFL owner telling ESPN.com, this is what happens when you get into business with bad people. They know he'll burn their houses down. The report says Snyder cycled through football regimes, but kept certain lieutenants around as forced companions as much as advisors, summoning them at all hours to his estate. In the view of former Washington executives, he was a lonely man, seemingly devoid of true friends. One sports executive and longtime friend of Roger Goodell said, quote, there are 31 guys who are petrified. If you don't care about the fraternity, it's scary. One veteran owner, again an owner, anonymous owner, tells ESPN his gate is the lowest in the league. His revenues are significantly low and trending lower. He is costing his fellow owners significant money. One of his confidants, one of his mentors, one of his friends and peers, and a guy that he can vote with in the NFL circles, owner circles, is Jerry Jones. But one owner was told by Snyder directly that, quote, he's got dirt on Jerry. A source confirmed that Snyder has told another confidant he has a file on Jerry Jones, who has served as Snyder's friend, mentor, and longtime firewall of support. Could you imagine if Dan Snyder, under fire, goes scorched earth and gives up info, intel, dirt on Jerry, on Goodell, on other owners, what type of bleep show that would be? Several owners say they see the threats about damaging dossiers as a desperate tactic intended to scare owners from voting to remove him. A veteran owner says, quote, he's backed into a corner. He's behaving like a mad dog cornered. Snyder has badmouthed Jerry, telling another owner recently, he's only out to get in your pocket. He'll sell you down the river. You can't trust him. A senior executive close to the owner said Dan Snyder has already lost Jerry Jones's support. Jerry has said he might not be able to protect Snyder any longer. Now, you might say, well, what evidence do we have that Snyder would go down this road? This report points to the leaked emails of John Gruden and Bruce Allen. Remember, Bruce Allen was the longtime confidant and number 2 within the Washington organization. Those emails that John Gruden sent that were racist, misogynistic, homophobic, what have you, were sent to the Washington front offices, and they got leaked. And some believe that either Dan Snyder leaked them or he ordered the leak. So already a guy that's got evidence that he will take you down by leaking the evidence against you. Who knows? But I'll say this. This is the single most believable reason why the NFL has not removed Dan Snyder from his position. He's done surely enough to be removed. If you didn't even believe that the NFL cared about a decent workplace environment, if you were to believe cynically that the NFL doesn't care about misogyny, putting cheerleaders in terrible spots, verbal abuse, bullying, and all that stuff that Dan Snyder certainly has done and has a reputation for 30 years. Even if you didn't believe in any of that, that would bend any of the owners against him. The business side is what keeps coming back. He wants a stadium that makes the owners money. New stadiums make all of them money. He can't get that done because he's got no allies in the local governments. The stadium itself, FedEx, is falling apart. It used to bring in 90,000 people, sell out every single week. Now they've lowered the seats to 65,000, and the only time they sell out is when Eagles fans and Giants fans and Cowboys fans show up. And there's the report that he's been stealing money from the league, shared coffers, shared accounts where, part of your gate, part of your revenue goes into a league pool that everybody gets 1/32 of, a portion of, he's been skimming off of and not sharing with them. And NFL revenue that he's been putting in the bucket of, oh, that's my bowl game money. Oh, that's my other money from other stuff. So they've got him on finances. They've got him on toxic workplace. They've got him on bad PR. They've got him on a franchise that could be so much more in one of the biggest markets in America with one of the best fan bases that any franchise has had for years, decades. He's crushed it all. He's been a disaster. He refused to give up the name when it was pretty obvious the name had to be changed. He's a constant black eye, and he never gets voted out. What's the most reasonable conclusion? They are scared of revenge. And this report by ESPN.com pretty much lays it out. I believe it. I totally believe it. I mean, these guys, none of them are choir boys. None of them are Boy Scouts. So you think any one of those owners trusts Dan Snyder with their text messages, with their emails? I mean, think about your own emails or text messages, conversations you've had in private, and somebody that suddenly had it out for you They said, okay, I'm going to go public. I'm telling your wife. I'm texting your boss. I'm emailing everybody in the office. All of this stuff that you've said, all of this stuff that you've texted me, all of this stuff you emailed me. You think that those guys who are billionaires want to face that? No way. I totally believe this. 100%. In fact, it's the only way it makes sense that Dan Snyder is still employed as an owner in Washington. They've already basically taken him out of day-to-day operations. They've already tried to remove him logistically.